What's your name?
My name is Doug Shadell, and I am from Muldrow, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I started doing comedy about 5 years ago. There was an ad in the Entertainment Fort Smith magazine for a contest at the Fort Smith Event Center, and I entered it and won it. I am a volunteer for the Ahimsa Rescue Foundation, which is an animal rescue in Muldrow, Oklahoma, and I've been a volunteer for about the last 10 years. And we have a fundraiser every year in Fort Smith in October, so working with the animals. What inspires me? I like to make people laugh, and people tell me how much they enjoy it. If they didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. I balance the comedy because I only take jobs which on the weekends, and I limit the range that I go and work and do comedy. I don't, anything past like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Dallas, that's kind of stretching it. So I try to find a balance between work and doing the comedy. I don't know if y'all can remember this because you're kind of young, but the Carol Burnett Show. I grew up watching the Carol Burnett Show. Did you? Oh my gosh. And her facial expressions, Carol Burnett used a lot of facial expressions. And I always thought she was so funny. And then there was a Flip Wilson. I don't know if they even would remember who Flip Wilson is. And he had this character, and Geraldine. And I used to watch that stuff on television all the time, and I just kind of loved the way they did their comedy. I like Ellen. I don't actually watch a lot of television. People are kind of surprised I don't watch television. I haven't watched television in about 3 years. I don't watch TV. I'm always behind on what's currently going on in the world. Somebody can say, well, what about that earthquake? And I'll be 2 years later finding out about the earthquake in Haiti, So I don't watch a lot of television. I don't watch a lot. I write a lot. I spend a lot of time writing or working with the dogs. So I don't actually watch the comedians that are currently on, which a lot of people think, God, that's weird. But I just try to give my fans comedy. I mostly talk about my friends, my family, stuff I have a hard time making stuff up. I can tell a story a lot better than I can write, comedy that's not real. You know what I mean? I just tell true stories about, of course, add a little flair to it so it's not real boring. But that's just what I do. And I'm always surprised at how it goes over, especially in the Fort Smith area. Fort Smith is not that big. And I'm probably the only working gay comic, within a 200-mile range. You know what I mean? And then I'm always kind of surprised how it translates, and other people like it. Predominantly straight audiences. Just like we were talking about earlier, I was just really shocked when I worked with the Laugh My Butt Off comedy crowds, and they liked it. And so I'm just always really surprised. And thankful. Later after the show's over, I'll think of something that I forgot to say. But most of the time the audience doesn't even know. You've messed up, but they don't even know that you've messed up. But I've been real lucky on stage that I haven't had a major, where I just went totally blank. I don't remember anything. But I did make a major, major mistake on stage one time. I said something that was inappropriate. I was here in Fort Smith performing, and I was trying to get this job in Fayetteville, and it was a fundraiser for a school, and I won't name the school, but the school was a fundraiser for special ed type kids, okay? Special ed type kids. And so I was doing a show here, and so I'm trying to get that job because, it was paying really good money. And it was for a good cause. And so I was on stage here in Fort Smith performing, and one of the other performers was running late, and they asked me to go out on stage and kill some time. So I really didn't have anything to say, so I went out there and I was just saying, so I said, oh yeah, and I may be in a show in Fayetteville in a few weeks, and I named the school and everything, and I said it's for, and I went completely blank. I couldn't think of anything. I said, well, it's for them retarded kids. You know them retarded kids with them real big heads? You know, real big heads, got the suckers. You know, the audience started laughing. So I just kept like running with it. Oh my God, what a huge mistake. The director of that school had driven down to Fort Smith because she wanted to see what kind of comedy I did. She had driven all the way down to see me. And I'm up there on stage going, retarded, big heads, and all that. Well, I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I spent so much time trying to do damage control. But after you do something like that, you're screwed. You're screwed. You can never make amends. And I have nothing against special ed kids. It's just, it was a comedy show, for God's sakes. I wasn't going to go up there in a few weeks and insult them. Anyway, you talk about screw up. Oh, Lord. I just, I grew up being me. And so, when you're not in the norm of everything, you can take those experiences and turn them into comedy. Meeting people. And I know a lot of people say that, but just like meeting y'all, if I had never started this, sometimes I have like a small influence. The comedy helps me promote the fundraisers for the animals. But it's just like meeting people. I've met so many people, and about twice a week on Facebook, I have it's a little show I invented myself. It's called Coffee Talk. And I cannot believe how many loyal fans on Facebook I have with something that I never intended to start. I'd gotten a new iPhone, and I didn't grow up in the electronic age. And my niece told me, she goes, Uncle Dougie, you can make videos. Oh, really? Great. And so I made this video after the earthquakes in Oklahoma. They had some minor earthquakes in November. And I made a small video about that, and it just exploded all over Facebook, people sharing it. Like in 1 week, I got like 1,000 requests from people about this stupid video, And I have just met so many people. I have so many loyal people, and it's called Coffee Talk. And my character, I use third person. I call it Mama, and I give people advice. People send me private messages on Facebook about some stuff that would just curl your hair. Like real stuff, like kinky stuff and everything. And they want Mama to answer.
Yeah.
So I have to think about it the night before, and I try to answer it. So it's just meeting people. The worst part, and I don't know why, some comedians can be so cool backstage. They can be so cool, so laid back. They'll just be like, whatever. They'll be drinking a beer, having a mixed drink. I am like so stressed. I am so stressed and so nervous. And I've never gotten away from that. I'll just be so tense. And I think to myself, 2 days leading up to a show, why am I doing this? I mean, I am like so tense. And usually I'm the MC a lot. About 90% of the time, I'm the MC on shows. So I come out first, and I introduce the guys, and I do small skits in between. And for some reason, I'm more comfortable with that. I'm more relaxed. I've never done what they call feature or headline work. I don't know if you really know that lingo. There's usually an MC. There's usually an opener. There's a feature person, and then there's a headliner person. If someone told me I was going to have to be the main show, I would vomit. Because there's a lot of pressure and weight on the person who's like the headliner. They're like the main person that people are there to see. And I I don't know if I could do that or not. I'm more comfortable just here, make people laugh here, make people laugh here, come out wearing a pair of house shoes here, you know, and just making people